Friends, welcome back to another episode of the Sports Card Dad. It is our weekly PSA store on eBay, and this week we've got a special one, the Michael Jordan Card Show. So we are only going to be looking at Michael Jordan cards.
Maybe it's my fault. Maybe I led you to believe it was easy when it wasn't. Maybe I made you think my highlights started at the free throw line and not in the gym. Maybe I made you think that every shot I took was a game winner. That my game was built on flash and not fire. Maybe I led you to believe that basketball was a God-given gift and not something I worked for every single day of my life.
This guy might be the most collectible player in the hobby today. The fact that he has cards that span multiple decades. He has got collectors of all ages. The GOAT of basketball. I know some people will try to argue that, but the reality and the truth is what it is. And MJ, everyone wants to be like Mike, just like in the Gatorade commercial.
Got to see it how I dream to be. Boom, 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 boom. I dream I move. I dream I move. I'm Mike. If I could be like Mike.
Don't forget, friends, if you have never submitted with PSA or you've got friends that never have, share the code that's scrolling at the bottom, SCD25, the promo code for $25 off. Just a one card minimum to try them out. It's at the shipping and billing screen. And a hobby that continues to get more expensive, save a few bucks. And I've got promo codes for a variety of different companies in my video description as well as in the pinned comments. Also, keep in mind, when you grade cards with PSA, you can send them to the PSA Vault and just have them sit there for a while if you'd like. Safe and sound. You can then send them from the vault to eBay to sell if you'd like, or you can send them home. You can do a combination of these things after grading cards with PSA. So some nice options there. And you can also, when you buy a card, you can send it off to the PSA Vault from eBay. So there's all this interconnecting things just to keep in mind here when using PSA in 2025. All right, let's start with a card that, frankly, I just thought that it looked really cool. It is the 1993 Upper Deck. It is the Skylights version in a PSA 10. I wanted to check something here. Do we have a, yes, let's see. How many 10s do we have? 224. Some might say that that's a lot of 10s, but the real truth is it feels like it's getting tougher and tougher. And as time goes on, especially for cards that are, 30 years old now, 1993. I mean, we're talking 33 years old. These cards, I mean, it's getting tougher and tougher to find PSA 10s. And I know a lot of collectors, whether it's Michael Jordan or other players, that are PSA 10 collectors. So it might not be a super rare card. It might be a base card, might be a base rookie card, could be whatever it is, but they want that card in a PSA 10 and gem mint copy. And this one, I did see sales. Now, I think this one's priced a little bit high at $600. I think that there were sales lower than this when I was taking a look at eBay. I wanted to start with this card. It's just a really cool Skylights card of him going up for a dunk. And it's early 90s. A lot of the cards we're going to look at, we will look, of course, at some that are expensive, but we're also going to look at just everyday collector cards that maybe you haven't seen before that I thought looked really cool. The next card is one of those for me. I don't remember ever seeing this card. 2007 Upper Deck Las Vegas All-Star card. It's in a PSA 7. This one's at $785 OBO here in the PSA eBay store. There's some, I believe when I was looking at comps on this, not quite as high at $785, but still kind of approaching there. And the fact that you've got kind of the best offer option, very easily make an offer on a card like this. Because I never know where anybody is, and I don't know how you are on eBay, I always offer like 50% right out of the gate. So if it's $785, I'll throw out an offer at $350, $400, which of course it's that low ball offer for what the asking price is. But you never really know. You never know how long the card has been sitting around there. Maybe they're ready to move it. Maybe they'll counter back at a price that's closer to what you were thinking. This one is really cool. Of course, it's Las Vegas All-Star, but it is essentially like a playing card with Jordan on it. I just thought the thing was really cool looking. Great blue colors here, and you've got an Upper Deck hologram in the top right. Jordan looks like he's about to make a move to the basket. I just thought overall this is a really rad card in a PSA 7, one that I had not seen before. All right, we are going to go next to a card that I've seen many, many times. If you're my age, if you're in your 40s, if you're in your late 30s, you might remember this card, especially if you're in your 40s, man. This is such an all-time classic, the 1991 Upper Deck Michael Jordan card, number 44. He just made a move and he's about to lay the ball up. I think this is the same set. I'm almost positive the same set as the Larry Johnson rookie card. Of course, the Charlotte Hornets drafted Larry Johnson. He's got kind of like that draft day cap card that was really popular in this set. And this is just all the nostalgia right here. And the price point is right about where they've sold. They're asking $85, buy it now. I think I saw another sale at $83 or something. So this is right in the zone for a PSA 10. And again, when we look at the PSA data, of course, there's a lot of these. They printed a lot of these cards. Man, I remember 91 Upper Deck basketball packs were easy to find. That's for sure. You've got 3,000 PSA 10s. But again, I think it just boils down to demand. And when we look at these we'll call it the junk wax era style cards, kind of the late 80s, early 90s, they were heavily printed. And there even still is a lot of PSA 10s on the population report. Because there is that supply, it allows to be able to get a nice price point for collectors. Maybe they want to get into Michael Jordan cards, but frankly, Michael Jordan cards can get pretty darn expensive, as we know. So this can be a nice way to collect cards, nostalgic cards in PSA 10 holders. And then if you go to a PSA 9 holder for this card, it's probably $25 or $30, $35. So, and that's a mint copy in a 9. So just something to keep in mind when looking at these cards. We're going to stay the same year, 1991. Great year. I turned 10 in 1991. And you'll remember this. Again, I'm 44. You'll remember this card, 1991 Upper Deck. It's the baseball version, the Michael Jordan baseball card. And man, I remember this card being so popular in card stores when I was a kid. This again is a card that it's usually, I think, in like that $60 to $80 range in a PSA 9. This one's at $99 OBO. So there's some room there probably to negotiate. But again, this is a card that not rare at all. There's 10,000 of these in a 9. So there's a lot of these. But again, if you're just looking to I want a mint copy of the card, PSA 9, you can get them at a very affordable price. I just picked this one out because I thought it was cool. And this one, again, I had stopped collecting cards when this one came out. 2000 Upper Deck Century Legends. It's not a numbered card. It isn't a PSA 10 holder. I just thought the card looked really great. He's making kind of that face. Michael Jordan always kind of played angry and looked angry as he was dominating. And I just thought, man, this is a really cool card and a PSA 10. Asking $119. I don't believe I was able to find comparison pricing. Let's check the PSA data on this one, and we can see here, actually, not many of these have been graded. It's not a numbered card, and I'm not sure if this is something that just wasn't printed very much, or it just hasn't been graded very much. Maybe just haven't been sent into PSA. But Michael Jordan cards, man, you would think that there would be a lot regardless. This one is 2000 Upper Deck Century Legends. There's 39 10s, only 39 10s. Low population. The demand for the card isn't super high as of now. And so you've got a $119 price tag here on the buy it now. Again, if you're a Jordan collector, you're just looking for cool Jordan cards, PSA 10 holders at a great price. That one popped up to me immediately. All right, now we're going to go back in time a little bit to a card that I do own. Not this one, but I do own this card. This is an 84-85 Star Court Kings. It's the 5x7, so it's an oversized card. I have a BGS 7.5 for this one that I paid right about this price point here. We've got so the ask is $4,150. There's no bids at time of recording, ends on Tuesday evening. But the one thing about Beckett grades, the BGS grades for Star especially, they do not cross over well to PSA. A lot of times, like my 7.5, it's a great looking copy. But if I send it over to PSA, it probably gets a 5, a 6. If I'm really lucky, it gets a 7, but that would be insanely lucky to have a BGS 7.5 go over to a PSA 7. It just usually doesn't work out that way. We've seen it on the 101s too, where a lot of times the BGS 7 comes back PSA 5, usually knocks it down a couple of grades when it goes over to PSA. Just very tough. PSA a lot tougher than BGS. But I think, again, I want to showcase this card in particular because of the fantastic photo. It is an oversized card, but this is going back, of course, to rookie year times. And there's not many cards. There's not many early Michael Jordan cards. There just aren't. If you really break it down, I've got the Interlake card as well. You've got the Interlake. You've got the Star cards. You've got the 86 Fleer, an 87 Fleer, 88 Fleer. There's the what is it? The vending machine sticker. That's such a cool card too. It's not really a card. It's kind of more of a sticker that came out of the vending machine. But if you really break it down, there's not many early Jordan cards if we go back into the 80s. And that's the stuff that I really like. And that's actually the stuff I love. There's a lot of cool 90s inserts. I know they get a lot of attention, a lot of the 90s cards, especially the numbered stuff that's very expensive. But when I think about the fact that a lot of these early cards are overlooked, maybe because they're not refractors, they're not shiny, I look at those as opportunities. I look at Michael Jordan from a hobby perspective as this generation's Mickey Mantle. I know everyone's going to probably freak out when I say that, but I do think that Michael Jordan, if we go 10, 20, 30 years down the road, I want the vintage stuff. And 84, 85, 86, 87, that's going to be vintage. It's already vintage for this new generation, let alone, 20, 30 years from now. And I think about, Michael Jordan could be Babe Ruth, in 30, 40, 50 years. If we're talking about just hobby importance, he already is important, obviously, but just the legend that is Jordan. So I think that's really the reason why you wonder, like, man, why is there so much attention around Michael Jordan? And I think it's just simple, the way that he went. If you were around during that era when he was winning titles and his career and his story arc, it's kind of the perfect story arc for a legend like this, and it's incredible. He's been to 6 finals. He's 6 for 6 in the finals. That's absolutely unheard of. You go to the finals 6 times and you win every single time. Unreal. Okay, so let's stay kind of late 80s, and these are cards in high grade that are really tough. They're really tough. There's a lot of there's no shortage of a card like this 88 Fleer sticker, but they're all off-centered. They're all chipped. They're all beat up. Here you've got a PSA 9. It's sitting at $2,800. Buy it now on eBay. There was a sale I saw on Card Ladder, I believe, right at about $2,600. So this is price to sell, really, if we're looking at recent comps. Not a bad price at all here at a PSA 9. Mint copies of these. I think, PSA 10, there's such a huge price movement. When you look at a card like this, I don't know if I can pull it up here. I'll see if I can pull it up offline, but I'm sure the PSA 10 version of this card is $10,000, $12,000, $15,000. There's a huge difference in price between the 10 and then you have the 9 where you can get it. It's not cheap, $2,800, $2,500, $2,800. It's not cheap. Yeah, look, there's 12 10s. So yeah, the premium on the 10 is going to be massive on this card, but only, 248 9s. Is that a lot? I guess it's sort of a lot, but these are collectors that are holding these. Do they pop up on auction? Are they available? Sure. But there are also a lot of just long-term holders for a card like this. This is a type of card I would buy and just stash. This is exactly the type of card that I would not be looking to flip. This would be, hey, let's buy this nice store of value and put it away for the future. Here's another another example. Price point again is, I think this one might be, I think this one's priced right around, I think there's an $1,800 sale, so $2,000. Again, it's a mint 9 copy. It's 87 Fleer sticker number 2. And 87 Fleer, a lot of people don't realize this, was actually short printed in comparison to 86 Fleer. Less of 87 Fleer than there was of 86 Fleer. I'm not saying that they should be worth more than the 86. All I'm saying is just that 87 Fleer, I love 87 Fleer. The regular card, not the sticker of Jordan, is one of my all-time favorite cards. It's one that I would like to get in a 9 at some point, a PSA 9. But this is a great card too. Young Jordan smiling on the court. This again is a really tough one here. The cardboard, the coloring here and the centering. The centering usually is always screwed up on these. So here you've got kind of an 80s Jordan card, big time set with Fleer, and here it's set at a buy now price point similar to what recent comps have been for these cards. All right, let's go back to the early 90s. Again, another card that I remember. It's a common card, very common. 91 Fleer Pro Visions Jordan. It is in a PSA 10. This one priced at $300. Buy it now. I think this is kind of like the make me move, price tag, because these have sold. I think I saw one at 160, 200. Maybe they were like 220, 240. So they have sold for quite a bit less. But I think this is kind of more of like, hey, we'll set it here, and if prices continue to move up on Jordan, I've got it here, and someone can snag it. Buy it now at $300. Just a great card. And again, I think this speaks to collectors that are looking to collect gem mint copies of common cards, but they're great cards. 91 Fleer, these 91 Fleer sets. Yes, they're common. Yes, you could probably find packs on eBay right now, but getting them in PSA 10 holders is a whole nother story. And as time goes on, I think that it only gets tougher to get gem mint 10 copies for these types of cards. All right, here's a popular set across a variety of different sports. Baseball, here we've got the 93 Finest Jordan Refractor. It's in the PSA 9 holder. I looked up and I believe that the recent sales were in the $2,300, $2,400 range. This is an older holder, you can see. This one's at $28.99 OBO. And again, it's just, mint copies. 10s are so unbelievably expensive that I think that a lot of people for a card like this are looking for the 9 because there's value there. They feel like, man, if I get a really nice looking 9, great eye appeal, whether it's this card or any other. Again, 1993, I know that it seems like that was just yesterday, but we are all getting older. And before you know it, the 90s, the early 90s will be vintage. And I know we're all going to cry. We're all going to be like, no, the 90s are not vintage. The early 90s are not vintage, but it's going to happen, guys. 10, 15, 20 years down the road, this is going to be a vintage. Oh, remember when they were making these types of refractors? It's going to happen. Cool card here, late 90s. After I was done collecting as a kid, 1998 Fleer Tradition. I was looking on eBay and it looked like there was kind of variations of this card that were more expensive. This looks to be kind of that base 1998 Fleer Tradition in a PSA 10, asking $300. Maybe this was the one that was coming in at $220, $240. Recent comps. I might have been getting them mixed up, the other one that we were just talking about. But I just thought I should share this one because it's just a great photo. Great photo shooting, pulling up to shoot. Classic Jordan form. And so wanted to share this one with you guys. This one, again, is kind of I'm just going with all the nostalgia cards today. I have to. 93, 94 Fleer. You remember this. Fleer? But this was such a great card. Again, I remember pulling this particular card out of packs when I was 12 years old. This one at PSA 10, they're asking $119. I think they do fall a little bit less than this, maybe in like that $80 to $100 range in a PSA 10. But just the 90s and the way that the designs were, I know it's a fairly basic design compared to what we see today, but it's Jordan, it's a PSA 10, and it's a fun, if you're kind of looking for a run, of 90s, Jordans and a 10, and that, that's the type of card that doesn't break the bank. Very cool card. A card that I want very badly. It's on the list. Maybe we'll see something at the National, but I don't know. I've noticed prices kind of creep up on this card. And of course, it's the 85 Nike promo. This is a PSA 9. It's in an older PSA 9 holder, and they're asking $26.95. I think that's right about where pricing is. People will pay a premium for better copies of this card, and it's an oversized card. And of course, the history behind this card, not a super rare card. It's not mega rare. Let's take a look at the PSA data. So the 10s are, I think, anywhere from $12,000 to $15,000 currently, about 1,100 9s. And so because of the, the scarcity with the 10s, you've got a pretty big premium. 1,100 of these, is that a lot? Yes, it's, it's not numbered to 25. It's not numbered to 50. It's not a one of one. But this is a very important card. The history of Jordan. This was used to promote the shoes as they came out. And I just think that these are awesome. Of course, you can't argue against the picture being awesome. Some people just don't like oversized cards. It's almost kind of more like a photo than a card. Some people just don't like it. But this is the type of like artifact that I want. I want early Jordan cards, and this is kind of like a postcard, I guess. But this is such a classic, man. This is such a classic card, one that I want to add in a 9. I don't think I would ever add this in a 10 unless there was some weird, prices fall, the world's going sideways, and, there's just a huge drop in these sorts of prices. And I felt like I could afford it in a 10 and the prices drop quite a bit, then I would try to get one. But I probably fall solidly into the 9 zone for this particular card. And it is one that I really want to add into the long-term holdings for my collection. All right, we're getting towards the end. And again, we go back to Fleer. Not many sets in the 80s. Not many sets released in the 80s and early 90s for that matter. Not a lot of different Michael Jordan cards in the 80s. And I think that's important in a world where we have a zillion parallels. We have a zillion sets that come out every year for basketball or whatever. Now, back in the 80s, there just wasn't that many basketball sets. So this is a card. They printed this into the ground. 88 Fleer is not rare. You could probably go on eBay and get a raw copy of this card for $5. I mean, This is not a rare card at all. But again, once you kind of get into some of the higher grades, the price point's not crazy. You know, for a PSA 9 mint copy, this is at $335 OBO. You can make an offer on it. But again, this is the type of card. I wouldn't mind having this card in a 10. I think this would be a fun card. It's got a pretty big pop report, if I remember. Yeah. So there's 8,400 9s, there's 10,000 8s, but there's 659 10s. So that's kind of a nice number to where there's not 100 of them to where the price point is absolutely bonkers. If there's 650 of them, the 10s are probably expensive, but still within a zone to where I would love to add that to kind of like a PSA 10 early Jordan card collection. All right, I would be remiss if I did not throw in the 86 Fleer, the most iconic basketball card, and it's up there with hobby cards. 86 Fleer, most iconic Michael Jordan card, and just amazing hobby card. This one ends on Wednesday evening, sitting at $7,700 for the PSA 8s. What are the PSA 8s going for these days? I think that they are, like 15 roughly, for comparison's sake. Let's see if I can just pull up the data real quick. So we had a recent sale at $8,400. This is already kind of getting right up there, close to where a recent sale was. Now, does that mean that, these are moving up in price? We'll have to see where this ends. Is it going to, surpass that $8,400? These are the types of cards, again, though, when you have people looking at these, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. They're looking for a nice copy. For someone, this might be the one. This might be like, all right, this is the one that looks the best to me, and they're going to bid strong on it. This is always going to be one of those classic cards. I would love to have this card. While I do have a Star 101, I do not have an 86 Fleer yet. I think I'm probably more in like the PSA 5 or 6 zone for this thing. Not in a huge hurry to get it, but it's just one of those cards that is an all-time classic. So we'll end there, friends. We will end there with the 86 Fleer. I think that's a perfect place to stop. Make sure that you check out the PSA eBay store. Of course, everybody's grading cards, and then they're sending them over to sell them through the PSA Vault and eBay. So there's always new inventory. PSA turning into very quickly one of the largest, if not the largest, consigners of sports cards. They're getting there on eBay. They're making a lot of inroads, just being that they are grading over 1 million cards every single month and showing no real signs of slowing down. Friends, also don't forget to take advantage of the SCD25 promo code to get $25 off that first PSA submission. Have an amazing day ahead. Stay healthy, stay awesome, and I will talk to you again later.